worldwide cityscapes. So welcome. Listen, we are talking about failed relationships. Now, last week we talked about failed relationships as well. This week we are speaking about how to bounce back fast after a failed relationship. If you have not watched the previous one, you don't necessarily need to watch in order to watch this one. However, after this one, then go ahead and check out the last episode because it will make a difference for you, which is the lessons that we learned from failed relationships. That is what we spoke about last week. So this week, again, we are talking about how to bounce back fast from a failed relationship. But now let's just talk about failed relationships before I give you the first point, because a lot of times we have a tendency to believe that we are failures because of the failed relationship. And it's really not a failed relationship unless you deem it to be a failed relationship. The way that I like to look at breakups and even divorces is what lesson or lessons did you learn? Again, I talked about the lessons that we should be looking for previous week. So you want to watch that, but let's stick to this right now. So what lessons did you learn? What are the things that you were not doing? Because it's not always the other person's fault. The relationship failed based off of both of you. After a period of time, maybe you were trying, and then you stopped trying. So after a while, it becomes both of y'all fault and not just one person. Your timing could always just have been off. The way you delivered your message could have been off. And so you think that you're doing it right. You think that you're saying it right. But at the same time, you are showing up in a manner where you can work on your delivery, you can work on your timing, you can ask better, right? There are things that each party in the relationship can work on in order to make it better. So with that being said, let's keep in mind that failed relationships are only failures in your life if you tag it as a failure. Really, you should be saying, hey, this is what I learned. Let me work on those areas that it didn't work out in. Let me become a better woman. Let me become a better man. And then the next time around, be better. Not just lip service, be better, but actually be better. Show up better. Because this is how we literally create the lives that we really want to be a part of, that we're proud to be a part of, and decreasing the divorce rate so we don't choose partners where we eventually get divorced, right? So this is literally going into what my big why is. My big why is to decrease the divorce rate by simultaneously increasing the marriage rate, specifically in the Black community, because we can have beautiful, long-lasting relationships just like any other ethnicity. We just have to, we've always come from the back, and now we're sick and tired of starting in the back, even though we're still starting in the back. With that being said, right? Because a lot of times we just get the information later, or our past just has shown us to be in survival mode all the time. And so now we're literally punching past the survival mode, and we're sitting more in the thriving mode. And so now let's thrive in all areas of our life, not just in our careers, not just in our jobs, right? Not just being good parents, not being single parents, right? Being better husbands, being better wives. So when you become better, it really helps each generation, therefore after yourself. So just being better, being intentional about how you're showing up, being intentional about the community that you have around you, being intentional about what you're listening to, being intentional about what you're reading, being intentional about what you're saying. Like, all of these things make a difference and will impact not only you, but it also impact your child or children later on down the road. So now, with that being said, let's talk about number one, how to bounce back fast from a failed relationship. The first thing is to give yourself time to grieve. I want you to understand that it is a normal process to be angry, to be frustrated, to be sad, to be confused, all of the things. And if I'm not mistaken, there are 7 stages of grief. I'm pretty sure it's 7. So go through each one of those phases of grief. And here's the thing: your stage, your phase that you may be in may last longer than somebody else's. But the thing that I want you not to do is to compare or tell yourself, I should be over this. I should be. Go through what your process is, and not try to look at or compare yourself to somebody else's process and where they're at, because each person deals with things and handles things differently. You are no different. So handle what you must. Your process is your process. Accept your process and don't allow somebody else to tell you that you should be over. You should just get over it. You should be over it. It happened years ago. Some people, it does take them years to get through their grief process. Maybe you didn't need years, but the next person might need years. Some people only need a few months to get through their complete grief process. Slow it down. Give yourself time to process all of the feelings. Feel all your feels. Feel all your feels. This is how you're going to bounce back faster, by not comparing yourself to anybody else and allowing yourself to be angry, be mad, be sad, be confused, be happy some days, and then know that there is going to be another tumbling down, because something might trigger you later on where you're like, oh, dang, I thought I was over that. But also knowing that it is okay that you're not over it. So that's the first thing. Give yourself time to grieve. The second thing is to reflect and learn your lessons. Again, I talked about it last week, the lessons. So I'm not going to go deep here, but reflecting and learning from the lessons that was actually served to you during that time frame as to why it's now a failed relationship or a breakup has happened or even a divorce has happened, because we must understand what went wrong in the relationship so we're not repeating the same things over and over and over again. And here's the thing, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, thinking that you're going to get different results. You're not going to get different results. You have to show up differently each time, right? So you have to know that if I go and argue, scream, and fuss and fight all the time, which that was my thing, that was one of my downfalls, and you continue to do that same behavior over and over again, you have to realize that you're going to get the same result. It may take longer. Some people may be faster, but the point is the result will still be the same, which is another breakup will ensue. So we have to be better. We have to learn the lesson. We have to sit down and reflect. Like, sit down. This is a side note. I want to drop this in here too, because a lot of times we have a tendency to jump from one relationship to the next when we're not reflecting, because we believe that this new person is going to be able to fix us, fix those feelings. When in fact, sis, you have to be willing to fix your own feelings. You have to be willing to look face to face what you were doing, what you were bringing to the table. Yes, look at what the other person was doing, but you really must focus on you, what you were bringing to the table, what you did wrong, and stop always pointing that finger, because you have to realize there is some pointing back at you as well. There's some pointing back at you as well. So don't jump from one relationship to the next believing that the other person is going to help heal you. Absolutely not. You have to do your own work. You have to do your own work. You have to go through your own go through. You have to sit still and understand why. Why did you allow the treatment? Why were you doing the things that you were doing? Go deeper. Really understand the why. The third thing is to build a strong support system. This means getting around people that are going to speak life into you. That's more positive than negative. Sometimes you need to get around people that you can vent to. It doesn't mean that they're going to let you vent and stay stuck there. And you want to vent to the right people. What do I mean by the right people? The right people is not automatically just going to be on your side because you're their sibling or you're their ride or die. You want to vent to people that's actually going to say, you know what, I hear you. I feel what you're saying. But by the same token, this is what you did. You did A, B, and C. Based off of the story that you're telling me, you did A, B, and C. That didn't sit well. So how could you have shown up differently? Right? So they're not just letting you off the hook because y'all BFFs or because y'all have a long history together. They're not allowing you to go down that rabbit hole and dog the other person out and then you not getting feedback. If you're around a person that's just only allowing you to dog the other person out and all the stuff that they did not do or the things that they did do, but they never call you to the fire, that ain't the person you should be venting to. And if you only stay stuck there, that ain't the person that you need to be venting to, because misery loves company. So maybe the person that you're venting to is already going through, they go through, and now y'all both together. But at the end of the day, I said qualified, because at the end of the day, if that person is not helping to help pull you out of your muck and mire in that moment, or at least get you to think about how you could have been better, they're not the person that you should be venting to, because they can't help you with a solution or a resolution to resolve the issue. How can you not do this in the future if and when this comes up again? How can you be better? Again, what did you do? So positivity, you want to be around more positivity than negativity to keep your mind frame um, in a healthier state. So it's not always just like going down into deep in depression and woe is me. Yes, you're going to have moments like that during your breakup, during this time of reflection, but you don't want it to be all day, every day, where now literally you are a functioning person with depression because you kept staying stuck there. And one of the best ways to get out of the depressive state is to focus on what you've done good, like your goals, your accomplishments, as well as getting around more people that are not helping you to regurgitate the negativity that has gone on in your life, or the negativity that has gone on in the relationship. You want somebody to, let's push forward. I hear you. I've given you time to do that. Now what we gonna do? Positivity and helping you to come out of that muck. The fourth thing is really big. All of these are really big. But in order to bounce back fast from your failed relationship is literally to practice forgiveness. And not only are you practicing forgiveness toward the other person, because in order to get over and to be able to push through and move on so you can start attracting a better mate for the future, you have to be willing to forgive. Now listen, because actually the good book, the Bible, the good book actually says, God is actually in there talking like, how are you expecting me to forgive you when you have not forgiven your brother? I'm paraphrasing. But the point of it is this: you can't expect God to forgive you for your sins, for the things that you did wrong, your mistakes, your mess ups, if you're not willing to forgive your ex for his mess ups, his mistakes, the things that he did wrong to you. Not only do you have to forgive your ex, you also have to forgive yourself. That one is huge. I have a lot of clients. I work with a lot of clients, and I have several of those clients who can willingly forgive the ex or willingly forgive the person that has caused them harm in any way, but they have issues with forgiving the most important person, themselves. So if you can't forgive yourself, that is a clear sign to show you that you can harbor and hold on to things that don't serve you. That's not serving you. And then also you stay stuck. That depression I was talking about comes on you. That anxiety I was talking about comes on you and stays there because you're dwelling in the past. You're dwelling in the past. We need to push past being in the past, and we have to move forward. Number five. Point number five is to stay patient. You must stay patient when you are healing and understanding that healing takes time, right? Just like grief takes time, and there is no right or wrong, how long I should be in this stage, how long I'm gonna be in this stage. Healing is the same thing. And while you're grieving, you're actually simultaneously going through the healing process, understanding that healing takes time. It is a process. It is not something that you're going to do overnight. Process, months. Sometimes it does take years. And for some people, let's be real, some people, it takes decades. And a lot of times it's because their healing process got interrupted in some way. It halted, it stopped in some way for whatever reason. And now they're literally backtracking. And so if they would have just completed the process, then a lot of the things that they have gone through this second time around, this third time around, this fifth time around would not have happened. But you have to be willing to slow down, right? That's that be patient. Slowing down, understanding that everything good takes time. Everything worth having takes time. You having your sanity is important. You healing not only your mind, your body, your soul, that takes time. That reflection, the learning from those lessons, that takes time to unravel all of that and really get down to the root cause as to why you were doing the things that you were doing, why you were allowing things to be done to you, why you didn't feel worthy enough, why you didn't feel good enough, why you didn't feel fill in the blank. So be patient with yourself. Know that this is going to take a process. This is going to take time to unravel and to do, and you don't have to rush through it. It is not a race to rush through. The point of this is for you to get your healing, for you to get what you need, for you to understand the things that you need to understand, not looking for somebody else's approval or what they have to say about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Just going through your go through. Number 6 is to start a journaling practice. I know sometimes we kind of woo woo or whatever, but literally just getting those thoughts out of your mind so they stop staying stuck inside of your body. Starting a journaling practice, which is a gratitude practice, really, because journaling, it could be gratitude, right? But in addition to just getting your thoughts out of your head about the things that are coming up, that are popping up, so you can really figure out the why, getting those things out by penning paper helps you to gain clarity about the things that were happening. It also helps you to process your emotions. Now I see why I was really, really pissed off, or why I got triggered when he said or when he did. Hey, now I see why I let people just walk over me because right? They help you to gain clarity so you really can see the picture clearer and not keeping it foggy or, fog brain. None of that. We want clarity, processing, clarity, understanding, processing your emotions. Number 7 is to rediscover your identity. Rediscover your identity. Why do I say rediscover? A lot of times when we're in relationships, we have a tendency to lose ourselves. This one happens more often than not with women than it does with men. But rediscovering who you are outside of that relationship. So now you can come back to owning who you are, doing the things that you like to do before you got into the relationship, hanging out with the people that you like to hang out with, listening to the music that you want to listen to, travel to the places that you want to travel to or not, right? But really figuring out who you are, why you are, what are the things that you like to do. This was one of my questions that I just had with my clients. Who are you? Who are you? And the thing that I really want you to realize is that you're not the mom. You're not, no, let me take that back. You are a mom, right? But that is not your identity. That is not who you are. So the mom, the parental status, the relationship status, the career status, the car that you may drive, the neighborhood that you might live in, the people that you might know, that's not you. Are you kind? Are you compassionate? Are you a person of integrity? That goes deeper. That is really about who you are, right? Knowing who you are and how to articulate who you are. So rediscover who you are. So when somebody asks you, who are you? What do you like to do? You can answer these questions. You can answer these questions without having to put the facade on or go down the list of, I got 2 kids, I'm a da 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 da. That's important and it'll come out, but that's not who you are. It's a piece of who you are. It's a part of your life. It might be the phase that you're in, but it's not who you are. It's a part of your identity. It is not your identity. Number 8 is really big. Taking small steps. Taking small steps from the big picture allows you to chop down these goals, if you will, into smaller, manageable pieces. So now you can digest, okay, today I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. So, for the instance of the breakup, today I'm going to give, so maybe your thing is crying. Let's go there. Maybe you cry all the time because you just sad and you are very frustrated, you angered because you thought that this person was going to be your forever. You didn't want to start all over. Maybe your dreams of having a family has now disappeared and gone away. So it's a lot of you just sad, and your sadness comes out in the form of crying. So maybe this taking the small steps could be like, I'm gonna give myself 2 hours today to cry about whenever, or I'm gonna give myself 2 hours in this time frame. Literally, I'm gonna set a time frame for me to be able to cry, for me to be able to release and get this stuff out. And then maybe the next day you're like, okay, I'm gonna move that back. So instead of 2 hours, I'm gonna give myself an hour and 45 minutes. Then the next day, instead of an hour 45 minutes, I'm gonna give myself an hour and a half, where you literally pushing it back so you can start to regain who you are, but you're also giving yourself permission to cry. You're giving yourself permission to release. You're giving yourself permission to be you. Sis, you are giving yourself permission to show up in the way that you really want to show up, the way that you know is going to benefit you, which is all good. The ninth way that you're going to bounce back fast from a failed relationship is to visualize. Visualize what you want your new future to look like. You know, a lot of times that they talk to professional athletes, especially the ones that win all the time. And the common denominator that each of them has is that they already visualize themselves winning before they actually win the game. This could be with run. So any athlete that's a winner. So they visualize themselves already winning the thing that they want to win. So it could be a runner, right? So they won the race. They already visualized themselves crossing the finish line at number 1, right? So maybe it's boxing. Already visualize they won that fight against whomever they're fighting. So your life, your relationship is no different. Visualize what you want your new life to look like. How can you win in your new life? How can you win at that new relationship? Visualize yourself winning as if it's already happened. That way, when you get out there, you know the things that you need to do because you want your brain to help you win, to visualize and then actually live that life. The last and final thing that I'm going to bring to the table is to seek professional help in order to bounce back from a failed relationship fast, because seeking professional help, i.e., a coach, can help you to bypass all of the trying to figure it out on your own. They're going to help you to get where you want to go faster and not have to sit there and ask the wrong people or focusing on the wrong thing. They're really going to be able to pull out the area in which you need to be focused on. So seek professional help.